Hello, welcome back to the Alright Talk Show. We are in for a treat this week as my good friend and investor Lewis Harding and I will be talking with Sam Poullain. Sam is the Associate Director of Marketing to the popular and fast-growing stockbroker trading app Freetrade. Freetrade has grown from 25,000 to 600,000 users in the last 2 years, so it's definitely making a lot of noise. Sam, thanks for coming on the show. How are you doing today?
Oh, hi. Yeah, no, I'm doing great today. I'm really excited to be on the show. Thanks for having me on.
Excellent. And Lewis, how are you doing as well?
Yeah, thanks, Shane. Thanks for the opportunity. Really excited to speak to Sam about Freetrade. Got plenty of questions ready to go.
Brilliant, mate. Brilliant. So first of all, actually, Sam just told us some exciting news with what's happened today with Freetrade. So do you just want to dive straight into that, Sam?
Yeah, great. So yeah, today we announced our Series B investment. Very, very exciting milestone for the company. So $69 million, 50 of which is fresh capital into the business. That was led by a growth fund in New York, Left Lane Capital, and also L. Catterton in the States as well, and our existing investors, Draper Esprit. So super exciting to announce that today. And that's really going to help, the next phase of growth for the company. Really help us to, hire a lot more great people to build the product out and expand into new markets. So yeah, it's been a very exciting day today to get that news out and share that with our community today.
Yeah, congratulations. I'm guessing there's been a lot of congratulations for yourself and the team today. Then.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. I mean, it was closed a few weeks ago, right? And there's a lot of finalizing and sort of paperwork to do and things. So it's been one of those things. We've been wanting to share it with everyone, and we just have to wait until it was all final and everything. But yeah, it's fantastic. It's great news for our crowdfunding investors. I mean, Freetrade was started thanks to the investments of crowdfunders, and that share price has gone up, which is great for everyone kind of connected with the business. But there's a long way to go, but it's nice to celebrate this milestone.
Definitely. And I think it's going to be ever growing personally. And going over to you, Lewis, you're an early backer of Freetrade, aren't you?
Yeah, so back in June 2019, I think it was round 5. That's when I first invested in Freetrade. That's when I started using the app full time as well. So I've been around for a good amount of time. So yeah, I'm fully enjoying the journey using Freetrade and as an investor as well.
Oh, that's great to hear. Great to hear.
Yeah, awesome. So yeah, a bit about your background then, Sam, and kind of what you do at Freetrade, and you could even talk about how you got into Freetrade and a bit about your investing journey as well.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm Associate Director of Marketing here at Freetrade. I work across social media, community content, some product stuff, working on campaigns for new stocks, IPOs, a whole bunch of stuff. It's been, we've had a small team. It's getting bigger now, but it's been an exciting time to work in marketing these past couple of years. Before that, I worked for the travel app Skyscanner for about 8 years, from a kind of small startup to a big global company. I worked in the UK and also in Asia for a while, and that was super exciting. And I guess towards the end of that time, I'd been getting really interested in investing myself, started using a few platforms. I discovered Freetrade through, I think a friend recommended it to me late 2018, just after it launched. So I think I'm user 2,500 or something.
Wow.
I started using the app. I really enjoyed the app. I'd used a few kind of maybe robo-advisors and things like that. And I was a bit put off by the kind of legacy investment platforms, the straight up investment platforms. Checked out the Freetrade app, and it was exactly what I was looking for at that time. And Victor got in touch with me, and it felt like the perfect opportunity for me because I really was interested in the whole fintech space, especially investing. I was, a user of the app and everything, and I really believed in what we're doing here and the mission of the company to get everyone investing. So that was my journey in just over 2 years ago. Yeah. And as you say, since then we've grown from, I think 25,000 customers. The Android app wasn't even live when I joined, and to over 600,000 users today. So yeah, it's been a very exciting time. When Lewis mentioned the crowdfunding in 2019, I think that's when we broke Crowdcube, and that's definitely one of my kind of most vivid memories of the 2 years I've been at Freetrade so far. One of the highlights, kind of quite stressful, but ultimately, a sign that people wanted to get involved with the business and everything. So
yeah,
that was definitely one of the highlights.
You could put that on your CV. Broke Crowdcube.
Yeah, it was incredible. There was, people popping bottles of bubbly outside the door, and we were trying to get in touch with Crowdcube to kind of fix it. And yeah, it was a range of emotions that day. But yeah, I won't forget that day. That's for sure.
Yeah, amazing. And what I do love about Freetrade, I'm sure you'd agree, Lewis, is that literally your objective is to get everybody investing. Because I think, if you go back to like 1985, like people like you and I, we probably wouldn't be able to invest because it was so limited, and wasn't many retail investors around. But now it's like, so many people from like early ages, like 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds upwards, are like looking into investing. And I think it's great. And Freetrade are really trying to adopt that kind of early aging investor. And I really love that. And I think the branding goes alongside with that, because it's that, for me, I look at the branding, it's like that 80s vibe. It's cool, it's niche. And I think that's why I'm drawn to Freetrade. I think it was actually the branding where I loved it.
Yeah, no, great. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? It's kind of our average age of users, maybe 30 or something. And I think there is something about that kind of nostalgic kind of look back. So there is a kind of retro futuristic kind of vibe with the visual design and everything. But yeah, I think, what we're trying to do here is get everyone investing, and actually there are perceptions around investing, right? That it's kind of like complicated. It's for, trader, city boy type of personality, or guy in his bedroom with 5 TV screens. And I'm sure those people do exist. Definitely Freetrade is not the app for that person, right? And what we're doing is we believe it's something that everybody should do, because it's the best way to grow your money, or one of them. And we want to shift that perception and make it fun as well. And of course, we are taking our job very, very seriously. We're FCA regulated company, and we spent a lot of time getting our permissions and FSCS protection for your deposits and stuff. So all of that foundation is there, but we don't believe it should be something that's boring and complicated and makes you kind of break out in a sweat in the middle of the night. We want it to be interesting and kind of take people on the journey and teach them about investing and how to be a better investor. So we invest a lot into content and things as well. So yeah, it's like I would say our kind of tone of voice and our visual design is probably not what you would imagine from an investing platform in the UK typically, but I don't think that those other platforms necessarily appeal to the kind of typical customer that we're going for right now. And that obviously the high costs involved as well with using some of those platforms as well. So there's a whole bunch of things going on really that we're trying to tap into.
Yeah, totally agree. And I think that's it. You're trying to make investing quite fun. And yeah, just going off the back what you said with how you've branded it, I think it's definitely working. And I've got people in my friendship group and my circle that I've got people into investing via the Freetrade app, because they've seen the branding and the look of it. They think, oh, well, it's actually not that bad. And they've checked out your social media content, and they've seen how easy it is. The posts you're putting out, like there was a post the other day, and it's the difference between IPO and I can't remember the other term. There's a term if companies don't want to go down the IPO
direct
route. Yeah,
direct listing.
That's the one. So that was, I read that, and for money, so I didn't really know what a direct listing was properly before I read that article, and it's explained so well, and that's what I loved about it. And it's trying to make it so easy. But yeah, spot on.
Yeah, so we have a couple of awesome analysts. So they're writing, they're qualified financial writers, right? And they're analyzing the markets and various companies and stuff. And we're producing a lot more content to help people, I suppose, get interested in it and also learn more about it. So it's definitely going to be a focus going forward, because I just don't think that investing has kind of been a thing for, the typical customer age that we have historically. It's just not been something that you kind of thought about. Saving is something, but investing is like a bit of a mindset kind of shift. It's slightly longer term than just kind of like putting it under the mattress and, spending it again relatively soon. It's a new thing, really.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Totally agree. Love it. Lewis, I'm sure you've got a few questions for Sam. So over to you, my man.
Yeah, so I think my first question for Sam would be, what is it like working at a high growth fintech tech company? Because I'm assuming it's very exciting and all. It's sorry, I lost my words there. It's go all the time. It's full on. So just could you give us an insight on what it's like to work at Freetrade? And
yeah, of course. Yeah. So I mean, a typical day, I mean, every day is slightly different, but working at Freetrade, we're probably a kind of scale up now, over 100 people, but certainly my experience from very, very early days, 20, 30 people, you roll your sleeves up and you get shit done, to be honest. I've worked at, previously worked at a much bigger company with well over 1,000 staff, and things are very different. And of course you can do work that is very satisfying and achieve personal growth and grow the company, but it's more difficult to kind of see the impact of what you're doing. But with Freetrade or a kind of startup to scale up, you roll up your sleeves and you see the impact of what you're doing every day, right? So I work in the marketing team, and we can see the impact tomorrow if we do the right things of what we're doing today to drive customer acquisition, right? So it's very much waking up, looking at the numbers, trying to understand what the performance was yesterday for whichever area you may work in. Definitely very collaborative across the business. So today I was chatting with everyone from product to engineering to customer ops, and very, very kind of collaborative approach. Obviously the last year has been in lockdown, right? So it's been very much on Slack and Zoom, but it's doable. And we've definitely been, I'd say in a way, we've grown quite close as a team, having to, communicate tightly on, online and everything. But yeah, so a typical day could be, we have our stand up in the morning with our team, right? We look at the priorities, what the blockers may be, what we want to achieve today. And we go ahead with the day basically, and figure out how we can continue to grow. So it's different from every team's point of view, but from a marketing point of view, we're looking at the numbers, right? How many customers did we acquire yesterday? Maybe look at the revenue we're driving, things like that.
Awesome. So it's not quite Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, but there's a lot. I mean, of course, there's a lot of interesting conversations going on, right? So the forum, the Freetrade community forum is a great place to learn about investing and have conversations. And we have thousands of conversations on there every month that we take part in as the team, and interacting with the community and everything, but also that the community have with each other, right? So that's definitely a big part of what Freetrade, who Freetrade is, and the community literally owns part of the company and everything. So I would say, like, all day, every day, I'm communicating with customers, and that's the most important thing I think you can do as a marketer, is really understand people, what they want, how you can kind of take on board their feedback, and everything. And that's a big part of kind of day to day as well.
Yeah, and that brings me to my my next question actually, which is this relates to something that happened earlier this year with Gamestop, as that was, and then I thought you guys handled it awesome. Like the way your customer service handled it was fantastic. So do you want to tell me kind of how when you woke up that morning and this Gamestop thing was like obviously all over the news and the app probably crashed and whatever, like, do you want to explain just how you your team dealt with that?
Yeah, for sure. In fact, actually, for anyone listening to this after, Adam and Victor, our founder and co-founder, basically just spoke to GQ and did quite an interesting kind of conversation with them. So if you check out Adam's tweets just now, that there's a great article that's come out for some even more context on it. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to talk about GameStop. It was an incredible experience, like nothing else I've experienced in my career, that's for sure. So yeah, what happened? So, I mean, we're obviously aware of Reddit, and like there's a lot of people talking about investing on there, and there has been for a while. But something a bit different was happening, right? And we could see there was more conversations around certain stocks on there, also on our forum as well. But we honestly just didn't know what was going to happen, and we could not have predicted what happened. So on that day, so to give you an idea of what a typical day was looking like around then, we were seeing a big growth in customers at the beginning of the year. It's quite normal because people are looking forward to the new financial year, right? Or the new year, and thinking about their finances, and thinking about improving their finances, right? Mm-hmm. So we were seeing maybe 3,000-4,000 customers a day coming in. Fantastic, nice growth happening there. On the morning that the GameStop story kind of exploded overnight, we saw 40k signups on the app in a single day, so 10x. And we just, did not expect that to happen, right? And we could never have predicted that. So obviously, most of those customers, signed up on the app, created an account, no problem, right? There is, there are a small number of users that have to be verified manually to sign up with a customer account on there. So that was a bit of an issue, because there was a lot of people saying I'm desperate to join and things like that. But yeah, basically what happened was we kind of coped with it initially on that first day. There were a few halts for trading that were actually imposed at the stock market level in New York, so completely out of our control. And thanks for the kind words on the way we communicated. I mean, what we always do here at Freetrade, what we really believe in, is transparency and telling the truth and telling our customers what's going on as simply as we can, as fast as we can. And there was a lot of shit hitting the fan, to be honest with you, but we tried to communicate, as best we could, and it was a real kind of crisis comms situation, but we tried to communicate throughout that day as to what was happening. That was the Thursday. On the Friday, so Victor was on Sky News, talking about the fact we were one of the only stockbrokers that stayed open on the Thursday, albeit with some downtime, which was out of our control. We were all set, and again, making it very clear that we're on the side of the investor here. We're not being controlled by someone. There's a lot of kind of conspiracy theories going around, but the truth was that we, as always, want to stay open for our customers, right? Mm-hmm. We want everyone to be able to invest. We're on your sides. We are owned by our customers. So he was on Sky News. Shortly after that happened, our FX provider got in touch with us and basically informed us that the previous day we'd kind of partly broken the FX rails at the bank that power their service. So I mean, you can find out who that is if anyone's interested. Yeah. We don't want to kind of name and shame partners here, but ultimately they just could not handle the load, right? The demand from customers. They couldn't handle it. Mm-hmm. They informed us that they had to basically restrict the number of trades that we were able to place. I forget the exact number, but an enormous reduction, to the point where we basically had to turn off those stocks that were causing the volume, right?
Wow. So
we could only allow people to sell because we wanted people to be able to exit their positions, but we couldn't allow people to buy those stocks because it would have basically taken down the entire platform.
Wow.
At this point, people were very, very, very angry. We didn't give them much notice. In fairness, we didn't really have much notice. We did everything we could until the final possible moment to try and turn things back on. We just couldn't do it. There was nothing we could do. And so we had to halt trading in the meme stocks, if you want to call them that. And at that point, this became very, very challenging for us, very, very difficult to deal with. People were extremely upset that this was happening. They wanted to believe in us, right? Because we told them we were open for business and everything. But ultimately, we couldn't offer them the ability to buy any of those stocks that day, basically. So that was very, very difficult. And we went into the weekend thinking, how can we fix this? This isn't right. It's not our decision. But it's not right that our users and all of our new users can't invest in these stocks, right? We want to make people aware that investing in these stocks is very, very risky, more so than regular investing in other stocks and ETFs. But we want to respect people's ability to do that, right? It's not our decision to stop you investing in those stocks. So the team basically worked all weekend. I spent a lot of my weekend working, dealing with customer issues. Many of the team did. So we had people from all different areas helping to deal with the backlog of messages. The engineering and product team were basically working on a solution to this issue. And by the Monday, we were actually able to reopen again through an ingenious system that our engineers developed. So by the Monday, we were able to reopen and offer people investments into these stocks again. So it was a crazy few days, very, very difficult to deal with. I'm quite pleased with how we dealt with it from a comms point of view. And I learned a hell of a lot during that time. But yeah, it was wild. And I mean, it was the biggest story on the internet, right? For a few days, and certainly for weeks there, it was a big story. But I mean, for those couple of days, it was like BBC News, level of story, right? And it was just incredible. I think it switched a lot of people onto investing. And I think our goal since then has been to really try and educate people about what investing really is, because it's not really about that. But what that was a cultural moment where people people wanted to tap into that ability to grow their money, right? And there was this David and Goliath thing. But I think what it really boiled down to was people realized they could take control and actually invest their money in the market. And it's not really about GameStop or AMC. It's about the ability you have as a person with a phone and any amount of money to actually start investing. Yeah. So it was an incredible kind of cultural moment, I think, beyond the actual stocks.
It was kind of like, the little guy was kind of winning. That's the kind of the way it was seen, wasn't it? It was a big kind of FU to the big hedge funds and whatever. And it was a big cultural movement, and a big this Reddit community just got together. And then I can't remember how many users joined Reddit, in the space of that 48 hours. But I think did it go to over 1 million users, this little group or something? It was something ridiculous. But yeah, and it was just, and then they started going after Nokia and AMC, and was it BlackBerry was another one. And it's I don't know how GameStop's doing at the moment, because it's not something that I was just kind of listening to the news and stuff, but it's not something I wanted to get involved in, because I'm about the kind of the long-term thing, and not getting involved on the hype stocks, or the meme stocks as you'd call them. But yeah, it was definitely something that will go down. It has gone down in history, and I'm sure it's something you'll remember for your lifetime.
Yeah, there'll be a movie sometime, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure who's going to play all the different people, but yeah, it's incredible. I think Reddit had to shut down Wall Street Bets for a while, didn't they, or something? And it's just it was an incredible time. Not quite sure if I'd like it to happen again, to be honest, but who knows? Obviously, we benefited in a way from lots of customers discovering our app, right? But it's also quite
definitely. Well, as I said, you handled it really well, so pat yourselves on the back for that one, guys. So awesome.
Thank you.
Cool. Lewis, over to you again, my man.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, over that week, I managed to get 15 free shares from inviting people. So I got rewarded for my affiliate link as well, which was always quite nice. But didn't you get 100,000 users over that week? I'm alright.
Yeah,
Is it
something like that. Yeah, it was great. The single biggest day was like 40,000, but yeah, it probably went something to that number over that kind of week or something. I mean, way beyond our expectations, and that's where, being honest, like we just couldn't cope with the demand on our customer support team. We just physically couldn't do it. I was spending the majority of my time for days or even almost weeks, helping, and many others were, and we just couldn't handle it. Right, it was very, very difficult. It was very frustrating for us because we really, really are on the side of the customer. And actually, I think we have an awesome customer ops team, but they just were physically impossible, right, to deal with that demand. So it was difficult because that was sometimes some people's first experience of Freetrade was kind of like they had to speak to someone and they couldn't quite get through. So we're kind of back to normal now, but yeah, that was the only one of the downsides, I guess, to that time. But yeah, thanks for sharing your free share link. Hope you got a couple of good ones.
I did, thanks. Yeah. So yeah, I was just going to say, what features of the product are you looking forward to coming out of the next couple of months, or what features which have recently come out? So I've recently got a Freetrade SIP, and I'm very happy with it. My funds transferred rather quickly. I think I managed to get that done before the Gamestop saga, because I was on the SIP waiting list and stuff. But like I say, I'm very happy with the SIP. But yeah, what features are you most happy with at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to spoil things too much of what's coming up, but what we're trying to do. So I mentioned that we listen to customer feedback and talk to customers like every day, right? Obviously, that's super important. What we're trying to do is really make look at those kind of problems people have, or kind of pain points, and make those better and improve that customer experience. So you can expect a big improvement to deposits. The vast majority of deposits arrive in a couple of hours, and it's pretty seamless with our TrueLayer open banking integration, but it's going to be getting even better. You might be able to guess what that might mean, but that's coming soon, and that's going to be really exciting, and we'll also make things easier at our end because we won't have to necessarily that question of when will my money arrive, you're going to get it a lot faster, let's just say. On the new stocks side, so probably the number one request we've always had, even now with over 4,000 instruments, is basically more stocks, right? So there are a lot of stocks that we haven't been able to add yet. There are exchanges across Europe and Asia we want to add stocks from. So, we are looking to add more stocks from around the world. It's going to be super exciting. Something we would love to do, back to that kind of education part and keeping people kind of informed, we would love to bring more content into the app as well. We need some more engineers, and now we're going to go and get some, basically. But that will be also something that people are kind of asking for, more kind of information on companies and things like that. And then there are a couple of other things that we've kind of talked about as well, making it easier to kind of invest a set amount every month. We have a concept internally known as autopilot, which has not been built yet or fully explored, but it'll make it easier for you to invest every month into certain products, because we want people to invest for the long term. That's the best time frame generally to think about, and we want to make it easier for you to do that and think about investing for the long term, and giving people more kind of flexibility on how to do that, things like that. So, and there's one or two other surprises which I won't mention right now, but that's some of the stuff that's coming up. I'm really excited about being able to invest in some Asian companies and big European companies as well, especially looking now at some of the big European companies like VW and things like that are growing, so yeah.
Fantastic. I can't wait. Yeah, it's really looking forward to seeing the app expand and grow, and just awesome. But for some reason, Zoom has only given me a countdown timer, which has never happened before. So we've got 5.5 minutes left of this call. So what I'll do is, Sam, I'll give 3 quick fire questions. and they're just random. So, question number one, quickfire, is what has been your favorite IPO?
My favorite IPO. There's been a lot of them. I'm going to say Airbnb, just because, you know, I just think it's a great company. I think their product is amazing. I've used it for a long time, and I've worked in the travel industry and stuff. And I think they've got a great marketing model and acquisition model and stuff. And it was a super exciting one. And it was great to tap into that kind of excitement. And IPOs are a great chance to get people excited and interested in investing through companies that they know that are household names. So I'm going to say Airbnb.
Perfect. Good answer. Like it. Question two, what's your favorite movie?
I'm going to probably say Toy Story.
Yes.
I've always really loved it, and I've got a little boy who's 5, and we've spent far too many hours over the past year during lockdown watching all 4 Toy Stories on repeat. So yeah, I'm going to say one of the Toy Stories. Hard to choose my favorite.
Yeah. Oh yeah, God, I love the Toy Stories. Can't get enough of them. I love it. Even the old Toy Story 2 game on PlayStation 1 was quality. Loved it.
Awesome.
Loved it. Cool. And then question 3, Lewis, give Sam a quick fire question. Could be anything you want.
Cats or dogs?
I'm a little bit allergic to cats, I think. It's never been official, but I remember going to a friend's house even like 3 years ago and just being really kind of allergic. So I'm going to say dogs, and I'm not a massive dog fan either. So probably make me out to be some sort of monster who hates animals, but I'm just kind of, maybe dogs. Yeah, dogs. Nice Labrador puppy or something.
Yeah, fairs. Love it. Cool. All right, I'm finally then. So how can people, get in touch with you? I suppose it will just be via the Freetrade app, and if people have any issues with Freetrade, just message the customer service on the app.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, check us out. You can find Freetrade on social. Definitely follow what we're doing. Let us know what you want to see on your app. We have an amazing referral scheme. So that's been actually the way that we've grown over the past couple of years. People like Lewis and many others kind of sharing the app with their friends. So you can get a free share when you sign up, and you can refer as many friends as you like and get something between £3 or anything up to 200. So definitely check out the app. You can start with as little as £2 and get a feel for it if you've never invested before. Get into it and understand a bit more.
Yeah, spot on. Cool. And actually, I'll just quickly ask as well. What was I'll ask you, Lewis. What was your first share on Freetrade? Who was it with?
My first share would have been Facebook. So Facebook was my first stock on Freetrade.
What about you, Sam?
I think it was Tesla, which is maybe not a huge surprise. Probably a lot of people invested in that. So that's done very well over time, cool. For sure.
Awesome. Well, Sam, you've been an incredible guest. Really enjoyed it. Thanks for coming on the show. Really appreciate it.
No, thanks so much. Yeah, it's been great to be on. My pleasure. Thanks for asking me again.
And you're welcome, mate. We'll have to do it again sometime in the future, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. And Lewis, thanks for joining me on the show as well.
Cheers, Shane. Thank you very much.
Cool. Well, that's been the All Right Talk Show. Ciao for now. See you next week with another guest.